Our objective is total solar energy capture. Our current planetary energy usage is approximately 10 to 13 watts. The Sun outputs 10 to 26 watts. We are currently utilizing less than the 1 billionth of available power. To transition from a Type 1 to a Type 2 civilization on Kardashev scale, we must intercept this output. First, we must define our terms to avoid engineering failure. A Dyson Sphere, in its original conception, is a solid, continuous shell of matter enclosing a star. This is physically impossible. The compressive strength required to prevent such a shell from collapsing under solar gravity exceeds the atomic binding energy of any known material. It's a structural dead end. The valid solution is a Dyson Swarm. Instead of rigid hull, we deploy a decoupled array of approximately 10 into 15, 1 quadrillion independent satellites. They orbit into a dense formation, effectively blocking the sun's light without requiring structural unity. This converts a physics violation into the logistic challenge. What are we building 10 into 15 times? We need a design that is mass efficient and mechanically simple. The optimal architecture is known as a sandwich satellite. It is a solid-state, 3-layer integrated circuit, approximately 1 square kilometer in area but thinner than a household foil. Layer 1, the harvester, the sun-facing side, is a thin film photovoltaic layer, likely perovskite or silicon, printed directly onto the structure. This layer absorbs incidence photons and converts them into the direct current electricity. Layer 2, the converter. The middle layer is the control logic. It takes the DC current electricity and feeds it into a solid-state power amplifier. This converts the DC current into radio frequency energy, specifically microwaves. Layer 3, the transmitter. The space-facing side is a phased array antenna. It emits the microwave energy into the void of space towards Earth. How do we arrange a quadrillion satellite without collision? The optimal geometry is not a random cloud, but a precise orbital choreography. We begin with a Dyson ring, a single dense band of satellite orbiting the solar equator. To capture more light, we do not widen the ring, we add new rings at inclined orbits. The final configuration resembles a ball of yarn, thousands of separate orbital planes, each inclined slightly differently. This ensures that no satellite casts a shadow on another satellite behind it, maximizing the photon flux of the entire system. To construct this surface area, we require a mass budget, approximately 10 into 23 kilograms. Where does this number come from? It is the precise mass of planet Mercury. Mercury is the optimal target. It is 70% metal, iron or nickel, and 30% silicates. This provides the exact stoichiometric ratio we just defined. Metals for structural frames and antennas. Silicates for the photovoltaic chips and glass substrates. Crucially, Mercury sits within the Sun's gravity well. Its surface gravity is only 3.6 meters per second square. This allows us to utilize electromagnetic launch system rather than chemical rockets, eliminating the fuel equation entirely. We are not going to mine Mercury, we are going to dismantle it. A common objection to Mercury is thermal environment. The surface temperature fluctuates wildly from minus 180 Celsius in a night to plus 430 Celsius in a day. However, in engineering terms, this variance is not a problem, it's an asset. The reason is vacuum isolation. Because Mercury has no atmosphere, there is no convective heat transfer. It doesn't carry heat to your machines. A machine sitting in a shade on Mercury, even inches away from scorching sunlight, will remain near absolute zero unless heat conducts through the ground. We simply shield our equipment. A simple polished mirror shield reflects 99% solar thermal load. Behind that shield, in a vacuum, the equipment remains cool. The transport solution is mass driver, an electromagnetic railgun powered by solar panels. Because there is no atmosphere, we can accelerate payloads to Mercury escape velocity of 4.25 km per second directly from the surface. We trade propellant for electricity. This powers the feedback loop. Phase 1 begins with the seed factory. The first satellites it builds do not beam power to Earth. They beam power back to the factory. This extra energy allows the factory to build more miners and more mass drivers. Year 1, one factory. Year 10, thousands. Year 30, the planet is entirely consumed. The construction of Dyson Swarm is the final infrastructure project a civilization ever needs to attempt. Let us review the final bill of materials. We need raw materials, 10 to 23 kilograms, the mass of one Mercury. Location, 1.39 astronomical units, a solar orbit of Mercury. Geometry, 10 into 15 independent orbits, the Dyson Swarm. And finally, the cost of admission, the initial material from Earth. To kickstart the seed factory, we require an Earth mass input of only 500 tons, 5 Starship launches. That is all what it takes to dismantle a planet and tame a star. The instruction set is complete. It was Homo Pretelateris. Thank you for watching.